Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
And bored.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 3.
Welcome.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, we are happy and excited to do this episode.
Are you happy to be back, Christian?
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to jump right into our first little segment of What's Up This Week.
What's up? Ange, why don't you go first? What's up with you?
Oh, I'll go first this time. So, the holiday season is approaching, everyone. Christian actually made a post on our Instagram, which is @marriedandbored, if you would like to follow us and haven't already.
Yeah, please do.
About a short little wish list of holiday games we hope we get. I should say the games aren't holiday themed, but games we hope to get for the holidays.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
And it got us thinking about the idea of a game exchange.
Yeah.
So we went online, and I actually think we found one where the cutoff had already come and gone, but then we logged onto Board Game Geek and found a Christmas gift exchange, and we signed up for it for games.
Yeah, basically it's a giant board game Secret Santa.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and there's rules. There's a minimum amount of money to put in, which is a great idea. Because
Yes.
board games could be anything at Target could be a board game. It's like $15.
Yeah, it might be 25, but then someone, might want Twilight Imperium, which is...
Yeah, it's like $120.
Right, so it's a huge range.
Yes. That was a good Twilight Imperium plug there, Angela.
Thank you. I haven't worked in my mansions plug this episode.
Oh, there it is.
But there's a huge range of money.
Yeah, so we signed up and we're excited.
Yeah, and so they give you, I think some of the quick rundown of the rules is you sign up to give someone a game totaling at least $50, including shipping. They maintain a wish list, and you maintain a wish list in return, and the idea is that you would get something from your wish list. I think our wish list is about 10 games.
Yeah, they recommend to have about 10 games on your wish list, so we actually had some fun this week going through that process as well. Do you want to talk about any of those games that we put on our wish list?
Well, first off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Tapestry. We put Tapestry on there.
Yeah, we did. We were kind of looking forward to that one.
That's
That'd
nice...
be fun to get.
It's just a hefty game. Doesn't it look
Yeah.
just like beautiful, the box? And I've seen some unboxings on Instagram, and it just looks good. One of them we actually cheated, and we went out to Target just to get something for our kids, and we already bought it. So, oops.
Yes, that's true. We did put the new Keyforge expansion on there, and you go to Target for toothpaste, like we said on Instagram, and you come home with a new card game, which is, a typical weekend for us.
Whoops. And the other one, well, I don't know. I'm excited for a lot of them. Another one that came to mind is the European expansion of Wingspan, because we have Wingspan. And then Everdale. Am I saying that right?
I think that's how you say it, yeah.
Okay. With the tree game.
Yeah, it's cool. There's like literally a tree in the middle of the board that pops up.
Yes.
That's all I know about it. All I know, other than that, it's a good game, and there's a tree.
And we've heard an oldie but a goodie is Robinson Crusoe. It's not a new game, but we've heard it's very, very difficult co-op game. So I'm curious to try our hand at that.
Yeah, and then also the Harry Potter game, which we talked about a few episodes ago.
Oh, yeah, that our listener, Emily.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
So if Emily gets us and somehow randomly...
Emily, are you signed up out there?
No, so I think a really good question then is if you're listening and you think there's some that we should play,
let us know.
Yeah, let us know. You can hear how to contact us at the end of the episode. But if there's a game that you feel like needs to go on our wish list that we're missing, definitely let us know.
Because we can still update this wish list.
Oh, yeah. It's ever-changing. And I think it's a good thing just to have a constant list of things that we see out there and hear. So
'tis the season. And if you're interested in doing this yourself or as a couple, if you're a married couple out there, a dating couple, and you want to do this together, you can... I think it's open till Friday, November 15th.
Yeah, there are a couple of them going around on Board Game Geek. This is like the top one when you search for like board game, Santa Exchange, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Secret Santa.
There you go. There it is. And you have until the 15th to sign up.
So maybe we'll see you in there. Well, we wouldn't know.
Yeah, we don't
It's
know.
secret.
Yeah, we'll know who we get, and someone out there will get us.
We'll feel it in our hearts in the spirit of Christmas. All right, Christian, what's up with you?
Oh, man, what is up with me? A lot is going on. I guess sad news in our area. And we had a local game store close this week. Oh,
yes.
Which is a real bummer. It's actually one that I've known about for quite some time, and just recently started going there, and realized that it's like crazy close to where we live.
Right.
And I should have been going there a lot more than I have been, but we just randomly went there a few weeks ago, maybe like 2 months now, and just to check it out, and realized that they had some cool like game rental options and a lot of kids stuff, which is on the blog when we talked about our Stuffed Fables playthrough. That's where we got that game, was from this game store. Fast forward a little bit, they posted on Facebook that they're closing down, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
It was a really cool store. I loved the few times that we went into it.
Yeah, that is a bummer. It's sad news. Sorry that Christian had to jump in with that, but it's true. It brings up a bigger conversation, which we don't have time to do justice to, but just these local game stores closing, and how do you survive next to Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And
I feel like there's ways to make that better, and
we try to support local when we can.
Yep. But along with that, and the few times that I did go into the store, is I went there to buy Star Wars Destiny cards again. I jumped back into playing that, which was one of the first games that I really, 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 really liked.
That was a lot of reallys.
Yeah. I enjoy that game. It's got, again, Star Wars, which is awesome. And it's just a fun game of back and forth. I know a lot of people don't like the randomness of dice, but there's something about dice when you roll it, and the possibility of just winning or losing on one roll is kind of exciting, as long as you win. Losing too, just depending on the situation, but there's some fun in that.
If you want to know my thoughts on Star Wars Destiny, they're not all bad. You can check out our blog at marriedandbored.com, but
yeah.
Go ahead, Christian. I don't mean to derail your news with my thoughts.
No, I just got back into it. I took a year and a half off of playing and buying anything. Mm-hmm. I don't have everything, but I'm a fairly casual player. I've gone to a couple local tournaments and get-togethers, but nothing too crazy. One thing I realized, though, that I've been out of it so long, I don't really know what's good anymore, like what cards go well together.
Interesting.
And I really don't like deck building. I really don't like having to go through hundreds of cards.
And there are hundreds.
Yeah, really, to figure out, which 30 are the best to go with Han Solo and Rey or whoever you're playing.
Maybe if that were like your full-time job.
If that were my full-time job, Fantasy Flight, that would be awesome. I would probably enjoy that. But there's just...
You don't enjoy trying to squeeze deck building into...
No, I'd rather just sit down and play.
Right.
Which we mentioned Keyforge a couple minutes ago. That's what's great about that game, is you just open a pack, you can sit down, and you're ready to go. There's no deck building.
No one's deck is more polished than yours.
It could be. It just depends on the randomness of cards that you get in that pack.
Okay, but no one's sitting around choosing...
No one... It's not like you across the table have a crazy good lightsaber, and I just have, rocks to throw at you.
Is that an option in Star Wars Destiny?
It could be. I don't know.
An Ewok option?
Well, that is an option.
Pocket of rocks.
So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with that. There's a blog post, like Angela mentioned, on our blog about Angela's experience. Not as high on the fun scale for her as it is for me, but we do enjoy playing it occasionally.
Yes. And I have deep thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Very meta thoughts about my Star Wars Destiny
experience. It's a good word. Yeah, and I think just to piggyback again on the deck building thing, the game that we're talking about in this episode doesn't have much of that.
It's a card game.
Yeah, and we'll get into that soon.
All right, so we're back and talking about our game for this episode. It is Marvel Champions.
Yeah, Marvel Champions, the LCG. We got it early, like we mentioned a few weeks ago, and we've been playing it a handful of times, and we're having a lot of fun doing it.
So, let me describe the game for everyone out there. It's a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. Each player plays a superhero alter ego, and they work together to defeat a villain. This is all set in the Marvel Universe. For example, your heroes are Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, She-Hulk, Black Panther, and Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, and I think Miss Marvel.
Yeah, Miss Marvel.
Soon to come. Villains included in this set are Rhino, Claw, and Ultron. I think we've got maybe a Green Goblin coming.
Yeah, I think that's the first expansion that's coming either at the end of this month or in December.
So that's the basic outline of the game, and we'll start with category 1, the ease of setup and teardown. You want to start us on this one, Christian?
Yeah, let's get into it. The ease of setup for teardown in Marvel Champions, I would say, is super easy. It's a really easy game to just get out, open the box. You get your cards, I get my cards. You don't really have to dig into it yet. You just slap your deck together, and you're ready to play.
There's pre-made slots for your cards in the game insert. It is just pairing a hero that you want with an aspect. So the aspects are, correct me if I'm wrong, Christian, we've got aggression, justice, leadership, protection, and...
That's 4. That's all there is.
Oh, that's right. That's 4. So you pair your hero with an aspect. Of course, as you play and get used to them, you'll realize some heroes pair better with certain aspects, and they give suggestions in the back of the rule book. But basically, you're just taking 2 halves, give or take, of a deck and putting them together. That's plus or minus some neutral cards that could be applied to whoever you're playing.
Yep.
But it's nothing like Star Wars Destiny that Christian was talking about with that like massive deck building experience.
Yeah, I mean, with Star Wars Destiny, you have, depending on what format you're doing, you have potentially 3 sets of cards to pull from. And each set has like 160 cards. So that's a lot of math to do right now. So it's a lot of cards. But with this, right now, every time, whatever hero you pick, you have to play those hero cards. So you're always going to have Spider-Man's 15 cards.
If you're choosing to play him, you get his cards no matter what.
Yep. So that's super easy. Now, Angela said you pair it with an aspect. And what an aspect is, it's kind of like a role or like a class in a video game or in a different game. So if you want to play Spider-Man and you want to punch a lot of things as Spider-Man, you might want to use the aggression aspect. So you put those cards in your deck. Or the justice one is thwarting the enemy, right? You try to stop the enemy where it is. Let's round it out. Protection, that's the easy one. You block big hits for your allies. And then the last one...
Leadership is calling other allies to your aid.
Yeah, you just throw down big cards like Vision and Black Widow and just really...
Luke Cage.
Yeah. No, there's a bunch of them, and we're getting them all mixed up, but you get the idea. You get a lot of allies to come fight for you.
Okay. Yes. So I think of that more like a characteristic that they're good at.
Okay.
But that's probably not the gaming terminology for it. But that's how I think. Like, am I playing She-Hulk and she's really aggressive? Or am I playing She-Hulk as a protector? Or am I playing, and then certain characters go better with different aspects.
We've realized that some go better with a specific set, which we figured out pretty early.
Yeah, we'll probably get into different ones that we've tried later. So the first category, ease of setup and teardown, super easy.
Yeah, it's great. Good entry-level LCG in that area, too, if you're just getting into these bigger card games. This one's great.
On category 2.
Yeah, number 2, how accessible is learning to play? How easy is it to learn? And then for us, how easy is it to teach?
I think it's super easy to learn and teach. it's easy, like we said, to just grab a character, grab an aspect, slap in a few neutrals. You've got a deck. The mechanics themselves are simple, especially if you've played card games before. But even if you haven't, it's simple. You might have to learn what exhausting and readying a character means. But if you've played any LCG before, that is standard.
Yeah, or even any card game where you're battling other people.
I'm thinking we've seen that in Lord of the Rings. We've seen it in Game of Thrones. It's all
the Arkham
over.
One. They're all very similar. This one's great because it's co-op. So I take a turn, Angela takes a turn, the bad guy takes a turn.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I think it would be even easier and more accessible to play since it is co-op. If you're sitting down, for instance, if you, the proverbial you out there, were sitting down with Christian and I to play this, it'd be easy to teach you because we're all on the same team.
Yeah, it's not like I have to disguise what I'm trying to say so that I don't ruin it for other people.
Mm-hmm. So I like that aspect of it, and it's cooperative. We know that that's fun for our marriage, so everyone's working together. I would say, just to put a caveat in here, it's hard to perfect this game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's easy to just jump in and play.
Yeah, and I think that to go back to number 1 too, there's a lot of ease of setup that goes into this category as well.
Yeah.
Because like we mentioned, all you need is your hero, you need your aspect, you need a couple neutral cards, you're good to go. Shuffle them up. Let's do superhero things and punch bad guys.
Yep.
Now that will change as more expansions come. There'll be more options.
Sure.
But right now, we're on the ground floor. This is all there is, and it's great. I haven't jumped into an LCG at this level before. Back in the day when we got Game of Thrones, it was already 2 years old. And so we would look stuff up and be like, if you want to be good at this game, you have to have these cards. And it's well, I don't want to buy 90 packs of cards.
'Cause we just want to play what we bought.
Yeah. And we found out that what we bought is not as fun because we didn't have all the cards that we needed to make it fun.
Right. So now we're jumping in at the level of this game where it's new. Yeah. It's brand new. It's hot off the press.
Everybody out there is on the same level.
Yes. And I will also add that it's relatively quick. It's not 15 minutes quick, but we've played 2 games in the time it takes us to play 1 game of Abomination or Mansions or...
Yeah, we average probably 45 minutes for a round. Mm-hmm. Now we're still new at it, so we're not flying through our cards or anything.
And so, Angela is here to make sure that no one's not doing the rules correctly.
Yeah, that's right. You have to remember the rules. So yeah, it's great.
Category 3. How immersive is this experience? I want you to start this one, Christian.
Yeah, I would say it's fairly immersive. When you're looking at all the cards, they're all superhero. The art is great. It looks like a comic book laid out on your table, like a cut up comic book of all these pieces that go together to fight the bad guy. So I think that's really great. The characters act like the characters they are, if that makes sense.
So their specials.
Yeah, so Spider-Man does spidery things, and Tony Stark and Iron Man.
So his spider sense.
Yeah, so that's one of the cool things he does. So he has spider sense, and in the game that translates into whenever a bad guy tries to hit him, he gets to draw an extra card. So he knows something's coming. In this game, it translates to a card.
Yes, I like that one. Mm-hmm. Iron Man's makes sense because he is not powerful in and of himself, Tony Stark.
That's right. And that's one thing we should talk about too. These hero cards, they're double-sided. So on one side you have the superhero, Iron Man, Spider-Man, She-Hulk. But on the other side, you have their alter ego, which is Peter Parker, Tony Stark. And then what's She-Hulk? You've played her more than I, and
Jennifer something.
Yeah, I can never remember it.
Yeah, Jennifer Walters. Yeah. That's what it is. So there's a mechanic in the game where you can switch between your alter ego and your hero. And I think, a big part of perfecting this game is learning when to do that well, because you're only allowed to do certain things in your alter ego form or your hero form that you're not allowed to do in others. And so you have to choose carefully when you switch. It also affects what the villain does, not to get too much into how to play or what the mechanics are, but I think it is immersive. I think there's a definite theme, Marvel. You're in this world. It does look like a comic book, like Christian was saying. Although, sidebar, we're still trying to find those alternate art cards.
I know. I look online all the time for those things. So if you have any hookups,
just DM us on Instagram or send us a message on our website, and we'll give you our home address, and you can just
prove that you have the cards.
Oh yeah, okay. Maybe I shouldn't. That was too freely out there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I will say, this would perhaps be more immersive for me if I knew these characters better. So I know some of them,
right?
Mostly from movies.
Yeah.
I don't read the comic books, although for another time I have a family comic book history.
That's true.
But I have not read these comics, so when Christian opened it, we're sitting down and looking at it, and I know who Spider-Man is, but I'm like, She-Hulk? Who's She-Hulk?
Yeah. Which is kind of funny, though, because you didn't know who she was, but she became your favorite character.
True, which we can probably talk about in the next category.
Yeah.
So, well, it would be more immersive maybe for someone who knew these characters, but it also made me want to learn about these characters.
Yeah, and I don't read a lot of comics. I don't read hardly any. I read a handful every year. Mm-hmm. And like I knew who these people are. Like, She-Hulk is kind of the odd one in this set, right? Like, everyone knows Captain Marvel. There was a movie, Iron Man, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and then She-Hulk. She's the wild card.
Right, they've all had their movies.
Right. So to be honest, I didn't know her alter ego name. I didn't know that she was a lawyer. So she's a green lawyer.
Yeah.
She's a green woman lawyer. So yeah, it's cool. I get why they did it, because later down the road, because of that unfamiliarity of She-Hulk, or someone like Miss Marvel's coming in a pack, but I don't know if I would run out and buy a She-Hulk expansion pack for this game.
Oh, so you're saying because she's in the core set, you're getting to know her on purpose.
Yeah.
It's kind of being forced upon you in a good way.
Right.
Because, as we'll discuss soon, she is my favorite one to play.
She is your favorite.
So yeah, immersive. I would say it's a medium plus for me, maybe, on the immersive experience. I don't think it's as immersive as Abomination or Mansions that we've discussed in the past.
No,
I don't
think it is as immersive as either of those games, and I think that has a lot to do with that it's a card game too.
Yeah, I can see that, because we did play Arkham Horror a handful of times, and that wasn't as immersive as Mansions, and there's many of the same themes and characters there. So I can see that. Good point.
Yep.
Okay, category 4, the fun factor. It is a fun game.
Yeah, I like this game a lot.
It's fun to work as a team.
Yes. And
be in the Marvel world. Although our record right now, as we're recording, is 1-5.
Is it 1-5?
Yes.
Yeah. That hurts my heart just a little bit. I think that's good, though. We are, according to our record, terrible at this game. But we are having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's new, and there are so many options to do. Like we mentioned earlier, you can choose a character with play Spider-Man Protection one night and play Spider-Man Aggression the next, and it plays totally different.
Right. And your card draws, and the villain's card draws, and who your partner is playing. Mm-hmm. Am I playing She-Hulk again, or am I playing Spider-Man and you're playing Iron Man? And
and I wanted to go through as many heroes as I could quickly. Like
Right.
the first 3 times we played, I was someone different.
Right.
We went through the tutorial game, which gives you 2 sample decks ready to go, which is awesome. We should have mentioned that earlier.
It's another ease of setup.
So it's just like, hey, you want to start this game? Here's Spider-Man. Here's Captain Marvel. Go.
Yeah.
You don't have to do. You literally just take them out of the plastic. So we started there, and then I moved on to some other ones. I think the second game, Angela played She-Hulk.
I did. I was drawn to her.
And you've been her ever since, except once or twice. Like
one time I played Spider-Man to switch things up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the time you played Iron Man.
Yeah, I played Iron Man.
And for whatever reason, I think we looked across the table from each other and we were like, that wasn't as fun.
Well, we lost handily, which helps make it not fun. But I think one of the things that we have to figure out and are struggling to figure out and working at is what heroes pair well together. Mm-hmm. That's a big deal in this game. And also what aspects pair well together.
So
Comboed with those heroes. There's a lot of combinations to throw down on the table with 2 players. And we found one. And our one victory, what did we play?
Our one victory, I played She-Hulk and Justice.
Yeah, and Justice is very good at stopping the enemy.
Yes. Thwarting.
Yeah, so the enemy, as the rounds go on, it'll get a marker. And once that marker reaches a certain number, mm-hmm. they win.
Yeah.
And so you're taking those markers away.
Yes. So I like that because her alter ego kind of does that. It interrupts when there's going to be threat placed on the scheme, which is what Christian just talked about, those little markers that get placed on the villain. And so I wanted to play off that. Mm-hmm. And it does suggest in the rules that She-Hulk is played with aggression, which I've done a number of times as well. I even played solo one time, so...
That's right, you did play by yourself.
Yeah, which is another cool aspect of this game. Side note that you can be one player.
Yeah, and there's a lot of games out there that are one player, and mm-hmm. not a lot of people know about that. Like, you're not just playing you're playing solitaire, but it's not solitaire. But you can play by yourself in a lot of these new games that are coming out, so it's kind of cool.
So I enjoyed that experience. I enjoy it better when we play together.
Yeah, true.
Because I just like the team aspect of it.
But I will say, in all the games that we have that have a one-player option, I have never done it.
No, you haven't.
You've done this one?
I've done Scythe.
Lord of the Rings card game back in the day.
I still have to do Wingspan.
You can do that by yourself?
Solo? I believe so.
Oh, nice. I mean, it makes sense. Why wouldn't you be able to?
Yeah, there's an Automa.
You just try to get as many points as possible. Yeah, that's crazy. And then maybe Mansions.
Oh, yeah, I played Mansions by myself one time. This sounds pathetic. Let's go back to how we played together. No, honestly, I do like the solo variant when there is one on games. That's much appreciated.
I love playing games, but if I play them too many nights in a row, I need a break. And so I'll go read or play a video game or watch a movie. Angela doesn't have that problem.
It's kind of like, can we use the expression like a bee in my bonnet? Yeah. Like once I find something, I kind of like latch onto it, and it's like when you get a song stuck in your head. You have to just play that song until it gets out of your head. So I need to play the game to scratch that itch.
Yeah, and so the solo variant works well.
And
what else do we want to say about fun?
Well, I feel like it will get... Maybe you should talk about this because you brought it up the other night. That moment you're waiting for, that you anticipated with...
Yeah.
That you were maybe anticipating even before we got the game.
Yeah, I feel like with a superhero game, like, you should be doing superhero things at, like, crazy opportune times. I don't feel like that's happened yet. There are cards that do a lot of damage, and there are cards that do a lot of power, bad things to the bad guy. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like it's as momentous, or we haven't run into that one game where it's like, hey, if we don't draw this card at this time, it's over. and then we draw the card and we throw it down and we hit Rhino for 49 points or
Yeah.
just something crazy.
Well, we have played that game, but we just haven't drawn the card.
That's true. We lose badly. Yeah, that's true.
Which is another, like, I don't know, luck aspect that is, it can tend to get under my skin when there's too much luck. This one doesn't. I feel like it's not heavy on the luck.
No, but it is very important in this game to get the right cards quickly.
Yes.
And so if you don't do that fast, it's harder.
Yeah. And we did have that one moment, I don't know if it's a superhero moment in quotes that you would describe, but where we did finally win, and it was because I had, as She-Hulk, suffered so much damage, and then I drew that Gamma Slam card.
Yeah, that's I would count that one as our one superhero moment. And what that does is it's like a berserk card, so the more damage you've taken, the harder you hit. And so you Gamma Slammed Rhino into oblivion.
So just thematically, my brain was like picturing this happening. It's like getting beat up, you know, like on the movie, and you're like, oh, your hero's going down, and then she just
shows up at the right time. Yeah, Hulk smashes, or She-Hulk smashes where she needs to. So yeah, I think more of those moments would make it that much more fun.
Yes, and maybe we'll discover that as we keep playing, and we hope to continue to win more.
Yeah, that's the goal. So far, we might as well mention who we played. There's 3 bad guys. We played a lot of Rhino, and he kept on kicking our butt. We finally beat him. We played the middle villain, Claw, he's a Black Panther bad guy. He was in the Black Panther movie. And he was really hard. And I think we played him wrong, which I'm realizing now, but we lost, obviously. But it's cool to have different experiences, and all the bad guys... Ultron is the last one, and he's supposed to be crazy hard. And they all act differently, and to go back to earlier's conversation, they all act like they're characters.
Yeah.
Rhino, he's just going to hit you and run through stuff.
It's just stampeding, just damage.
Claw's more like a tactician guy, so he sends other people to do his duties. And then Ultron we haven't done yet, but I'm sure there's just tons of Ultron drones everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the villain's deck is well built around the idea of like getting you to like split up your forces, should we say, so much that you become weaker and weaker. You got too many things going on. Yeah. So we look forward to continuing to play, hopefully continuing to win. But hey, it's a good mark on the fun factor that we like it, even though we haven't won that much.
Yeah, true. And I think the theme has a lot to do with that. For me, Marvel, it's fun to play.
All right. Last category. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Was the cost worth it? And it definitely was. If you put everything that we've said together, it just pays for itself already. There's so much replayability with all the different aspects. You've got 4 aspects in this box. You've got how many? 5?
Yeah, 5 heroes.
5 heroes. So you can mix and match that.
3 bad guys.
There's 3 bad guys, and there's different modules that you can put into their decks to make it harder or easier if you're doing a harder bad guy, but you want an easier module thrown in there, or vice versa if you want to play the easiest bad guy with the hardest module in there.
Yeah, and there's also expert modes for all these bad guys, which turns the damage and death up even higher.
Yeah, it's just crazy amounts of variation, even with just 2 players. And then you can play it for up to 4 people, or you can play it solo, and that'll change the game and probably would change who you decide to play and how they work off each other. And we haven't played it with more than each other.
No, so. It would be a very different experience just adding one more person.
Sure,
and I'm sure it'd be even harder, like crazy hard to finish that.
Yeah, because a lot of these villains, they acquire their power against you per person playing.
Yeah.
So, or their hit points, like how much damage can they withstand, is calculated by the number of people playing.
Yeah. So they get stronger as more people play.
Which, in theory, we should too. You know, the heroes should be
there's
stronger.
one more hero. Yeah. It's just a whole nother layer of experience that we haven't had yet.
So it definitely has already paid for itself with how much we've varied it, how many times we've played it. And then, you know, you're going to, of course, that comes with a cost, but a minimal cost to get something new. Like when Captain America comes, it's not going to be a whole nother box that you're buying. You're going to probably be buying like a $10 to $15.
Yeah, it's $10. And I think that's what I'm most looking forward to with this game right now, other than winning more games.
Yeah, can we please win some more?
I'm looking forward to those new packs because for someone like me who likes new experiences, I don't like to perfect a game over and over again. Right?
Yes, but I'm laughing because I do. That's exactly what I like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, like, I look for the new experience. And so this $10 Captain America pack, that's a brand new experience for me. Mm-hmm. That's easy. And that just extends the life of this game for us.
Sure.
And if they keep on doing a new pack every year, eventually they're going to do a big box expansion. So, like, something similar to a core set. Who knows what that could be? But with Marvel, there's so much they can do.
It's really endless.
And like we were talking about it the other night on who could be next and what's coming, and it could be.
You could have a whole Guardians of the Galaxy pack. That comes.
Goodness, yeah.
I mean,
there's all these characters. I mean, they have She-Hulk in the core box, so that tells me that they're gonna go to the lesser known heroes at times. Mm-hmm. So. I don't even know who these people are.
Yeah.
And they're going to have packs probably.
And that's cool, I think. I mean, you might not have as much draw to buy it right off the shelf, but it intrigues me to learn more about She-Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to throw a little curveball at you, Angela.
Uh-oh. Not prepared.
With all these expansions and talk of expansions.
Yeah.
Is there like a bad guy or a hero that you would actually be excited for, you know, going and getting that pack?
Yeah, I would want to see Thanos.
Thanos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know that, I don't know. I guess I don't know what Fantasy Flight is going to do with it. I would assume that he would be almost unbeatable.
Yeah.
If they're going to stick with the theme. So I feel like that would get under my skin. However, there's a lot of potential for his deck, or maybe it's a whole nother box set that comes out that to follow this theme of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
It would be cool, like, if Thanos, as he's drawing his cards, he gets those stones. Mm-hmm. But if you also have a way to steal those stones or get them first so that you become more powerful, so that you can then defeat him easier.
Or if Doctor Strange, as an ally, needs to be present.
That's right, and he can hold up his one finger for the one action you have to take to kill Thanos.
I think if they play it thematically, it's probably going to be like you need to draw the exact right card at the exact right time, and that is the only way you can beat Thanos, which... just talking about it drives me nuts because I think that's so much luck, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be that tight of a victory window, but I think he will be very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about you?
I don't know. I don't think
he throws me this curveball and then he doesn't even have an answer.
Okay, so I want Thor.
Yes.
He's my favorite, which we know he's coming, but we've had no like spoilers of his cards or anything, so they haven't announced any cards. They just announced, hey, Thor's coming, which is really cool. So that means, you know, probably Loki's coming, probably Odin's coming, and all those guys.
So would Loki be a villain?
Well, I mean, he could be an ally in Thor's deck too.
Yeah.
Like, who knows? So that's kind of cool. So I'd like to see Thor. I mean, I'm excited to see Thor. I like the Guardians; they're pretty cool. But I think X-Men would be super cool.
Oh, the whole X-Men world.
They'd be really rad. And there's just so many of those guys.
That would have to be another box set.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's happening.
Yeah.
I'd put money on that.
Yeah.
But again, they'd probably do a core set of X-Men, throw little familiars in there, You got your Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, and then they put 2 lesser-known X-Men.
Sure.
I'm in. Take my money.
Wow. This is, that's a good question off the top of your head.
That's cool.
Bravo, Christian.
So, yes, definitely worth it. Excited to expand the experience and, extend the life of the game.
Absolutely. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking about what we learned in our marriage and each other.
Ooh. Ange, what did we learn about our marriage while playing Marvel Champions?
You should know this, Christian.
That's true, I should.
You're part of this marriage.
I probably wasn't listening.
Well, now I've learned new things about our marriage.
Just kidding.
No, he's kidding. I think, can I describe it with a story?
Yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
Let's tell a story.
All right, everybody, hunker down.
Hunker.
That's the proper usage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were playing our 4th, I believe, game of Marvel Champions. We had not won yet at this time. And I guess we ended it with another loss. And it was still relatively early in our evening. We knew we had more time to play. Another game if we wanted. And I just said, all right, do you want to start another game? And Christian's like, I just need a break here for a second. So he starts looking stuff up on his phone. I don't know what he's looking at. I don't know if he's done for the game for the night. And then he starts saying things like, man, people online are winning this easy. And reading me forums where this one guy is 19-3. He's won 19 times, lost 3 times. Another person on the forum was saying how the difficulty level needs to be upped. This is too easy of an experience for the heroes. And immediately I could just see the whole tone of our night change.
Sure.
Where before, we weren't happy to lose, but we were excited with the prospect of trying again. Okay, what can we try? What can we pair together to make this experience better? Do we try the same decks we had? We're brainstorming. Like, do we keep you the same, Christian, and change what I play? Do we keep me the same and change what you play? Do we switch up some neutrals? All these discussions. But then once we were reading about comparing ourselves to all these people out there that were supposedly winning or calling the game easy, it was like they were right in our kitchen telling us that we sucked at this game. And I just I think I said, like, put down your phone.
Yeah, let's just play.
That just stole all the joy out of what we were doing.
Yeah.
And it reminded me about what this is all about anyway.
Yeah. For a split second there, I really disliked this game when I was reading that stuff because I couldn't figure out. Now, maybe it's because I went to the internet for answers and people on the internet. Well, also thanks for listening to the podcast, people on the internet. But you know how it goes with comments and posts and stuff like that. Like, overwhelmingly, the posts that I see are, this game is really easy. And I'm just like, how? I've lost so many times.
Right.
I think we're in the minority, which now we're fine with.
Yeah.
Being that we haven't won that many games.
Yeah.
And we immediately started questioning, do we even know how to play this game? Did we get the rules right? I looked at Angela. Do we have all the rules right? She's like, yeah.
Well, it immediately sent me into a frenzy.
Of course I have the rules right.
So now I'm like sitting down with the Learn to Play book as he's looking on the internet, and I'm rereading every single rule, which I will say, like, the internet can be helpful with board games because sometimes you need to look up, like, an intricacy of a card play.
Yeah, there's always fuzzy rules.
Sure.
And if enough people read the fuzzy rule one way, they post about it.
Yeah.
So that's what we mainly use it for.
Or if you want to, like, look up some strategies,
Sure.
things that people have tried. I'm not trying to blast the internet. I'm just saying that at that moment, what we were using it for was really spoiling the whole experience of...
reading all these people's ease of play in this game made us...
Yeah, and I said, put the phone away and let's just have a fun time. So what if we're in the minority? I mean, as long as we're doing the rules right.
Yeah, and again, not to keep on saying it, but we were having fun. We're having fun with this game, even though we're losing.
Yeah. So, are we investing tons of time and energy and thought into which decks and which cards would be right at the exact right moment? Probably not as much as some of the people on this forum, but for right now, that's not a huge priority.
No, we don't have time to either.
Yeah.
Like, we just want to play and
have fun. I mean, I don't think we can say it enough, because sometimes I feel like these forums just suck the joy out of what it is you're doing.
Yeah.
So we had that moment that I guess the bigger arc of what I'm trying to say is that this comparison was stealing the joy.
Yeah.
That we had.
And that's just in board games. It can happen all over the place.
Sure.
But for us this week,
board
games.
It happened with board games. Yeah. And that was maybe a first.
It's kind of interesting.
For us, where just all the energy in the room just immediately got sour. And it just reminded us, like, hey, why do we even play to begin with? We play to have fun, to get to know each other better, to have an experience. And if these people out there on forums are going to kick us while we're down, we don't have time for that.
Yeah, Spider-Man 8965.
Was that really the handle?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, I was going to say, way to call them out.
All right, that's Marvel Champions.
And now it's time for some feedback.
Yeah, emails and feedback. We got a few messages this week, which is awesome.
We so appreciate that, you guys.
Yeah, we want to thank Josiah for writing in. He mentioned that his favorite co-op game was Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Yes.
Not played that one.
No.
We'll have to check it out.
Peter, he and his wife enjoy Gloomhaven, and that was... Christian is actually looking forward to playing that with someone from work.
Yeah, I just recently found out my coworker had Gloomhaven. He mentioned it just casually in conversation, and I had to, stop, put down all my things, and be like, you actually have Gloomhaven?
Why have I not been invited?
Yeah, so we're getting that to the table in 2020, no doubt.
So thank you guys for writing in so much. And we wanted to definitely mention Ryan, who wrote in, because he wrote in with not only his favorite Halloween candy, which is...
Pink Starburst.
But also his favorite horror game.
Yeah, he definitely listened to our last episode about Abomination, which asked a question.
Yes, so the question in our last episode that we wanted feedback on was, what is your favorite horror game or suspense, I guess, driven game?
Yeah, monster-y.
Yeah, so he answered with Horrified, which is actually a game that you can find at, Target, even Walmart.
Yeah, maybe. It's all over the place.
We've seen it before. I like the cover.
Yeah, it looks cool.
The cover appeals to me.
It looks spooky.
Says it combines the best mechanics of Arkham Horror and Pandemic. And now, Ryan, it's on our wish list for this board game exchange.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get that. And if not, we can find it everywhere. So we'll probably get it after Christmas.
Yeah. And before we end this feedback segment, Christian, I think you have some news for everyone.
I do have some news. You make it sound like
Drum
so
roll,
exciting.
please. Brrr.
I actually won a game of Abomination.
Yay!
I did not lose by 1,000 points.
No, you won, and you won by
6.
Yeah.
That's the kind of game that I love playing.
When you just squeak out the win?
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to win at all.
No, I didn't either.
I had good dice rolls at the end. I kept my monster alive a little bit longer than you did, and I think the dice at the end gave me the victory.
It was the alive points. But guys, about halfway through this game, I looked over at him and I was like, oh man.
He's out.
Someone's sleeping on the couch tonight. This is not going well. But then you pulled out the victory.
Yeah, I won. I'm excited. I will play that again sooner now that I won, rather than months and months from now if I would have lost. So that's fun.
Absolutely. Our feedback question for you this time is, what is on your holiday wish list? What are 1 or 2 games that you're really looking forward to playing, whether they're strategy board games, whether they're family party games, or if they're kid games even. What are you looking forward to? We would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, playing and or receiving this holiday season.
Yes.
We'd love to know.
So write to us.
Tweet, Instagram.
Yeah.
All of it.
And then maybe we'll update our wish list too.
Yeah, I think we should.
Based on what people say.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, I look forward to hearing those responses.
Yes. Well, Ange, we had a great time talking about and playing Marvel Champions this month.
As always,
yeah,
it's fun to talk board games.
Yeah, it's a great game. Definitely go and get it.
Absolutely. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website. You can listen to podcast episodes and so much more at www.marriedandbored.com. You can also email us at hello@marriedandbored.com or follow us on Instagram @marriedandbored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.